Oh, my chat won't log in. It's one of these nights where I would like to see what you guys are saying, but the fucking chat won't log in. Why it won't log in is beyond me. No, right, it was trying to do a fucking captcha. I've got to click the bicycles. You think I'm joking, but I'm not. Like, I gotta click the fucking bicycles to see your chat. Hey! That worked. Okay, because I don't see your chat. Hello, 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 hello. Has anyone seen the World Eater list with dogs? They are this perfect scoring unit. What the fuck are dogs? World Eater dogs. Yeah, I actually don't know what World Eater dogs are. Evening Demonic. Evening Dracula. Sorry there's no live game tonight. I couldn't get an opponent. I tried. Andrew, I think, will play me on his World Eaters next week. So tonight I got one Filthy Xenos still to build. I think I'm on maybe this one, 6A. I think we're on 6A. So I mean, on the last stream we built this guy. We built his buddy, this guy. We built the Phoenix Lord. We built the one with the four power swords, or 4 swords, maybe not power swords, and then this guy. So one more guy, and then I have a squad of Warp Spiders / Phoenix Lord ready to add to my newly acquired Eldar. Fleshhounds. Fleshhounds of Khorne, huh? So what's so good about them? Why are they so good? I haven't seen it. Have you seen the Fallen Blood Angels in Necromunda? I have not. I didn't even know that Blood Angels existed on the Necromunda planet. I thought that was kind of its own thing, the Hive City. If that makes sense. Is this right? 34 and 35. I've got 49 and 50. So I guess this is not right. Where's 49 and 50? Down here. Okay, we're building number 5A. I guess. 49 and 50. What's your favourite unit in the Eldar Codex? I do not know. I have not played the Eldar Codex yet. I've been through it once. What's your favourite unit in the Eldar Codex? Michael. I mean, I used to really like D-cannons because I thought they were a bit obnoxious, but I don't know if they're as obnoxious as they used to be, right? So the Fleshhound's up and downy now. I mean, it makes sense, they are demons. What about Blade Guard? How many will you be putting in a list? My new Angelic Inheritors list that I'm playing next week has 6 Blade Guard. How do you figure Eldar will go into Daka Daka Daka? I don't know how lots of things will go into Daka Daka. I haven't even built an Eldar list. This is just the first Eldar units that I have bought. And typically I like to build the models even if I'm not going to play with them straight away. I mean, I like to get them built and get them sprayed. We don't get a lot of good days of weather here in Scotland. So I like to have them built. So when I check the weather forecast one day and it's a good day, I can just get outside and spray them. So I'm going to spray these guys black. That was maybe obvious, but I'm going to do that. So my thought was, get these guys made, and then one Saturday when the kids are watching Moana 2, my daughter is obsessed with Moana 2. I mean, we've watched, I think Moana 2 came out on the 12th. She's watched it like 3 times already. We were just doing Moana 2 bedtime songs. So, I don't know if I thought Moana 2 was as good as the first one, but my daughter friggin' loves it. Ryan says, I've also been getting into Xenos now, John, with the Tau. Ah, Tau, you dirty, dirty man. That's got to be worse than Eldar. They have a new character in... Excuse me, they have a new character in Necromunda who runs around draining people of blood, and he's been alive for centuries, and he's carrying a blood changelord. He's also wearing beat-up armor. So I assume he's like a nameless character. They haven't really fleshed out his backstory, but that's who he is he? Who here in chat has actually played against Daka Daka? Has anyone played against them? I think Brett's keen to give them a go on the stream at some point, but I really want to play Andrew's World Eaters. Andrew's been at like 4 tournaments now with World Eaters. Daka 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 detachment is wrecking the meta right now. Well, I mean, I think we could have probably guessed that. I don't know what it is about Games Workshop to keep putting in crazy powerful detachments. But I guess crazy powerful detachments will get people... They'll spice up the meta, that's for sure. Warp Spiders are a little bit horrible to play against. With the new Phoenix Lord, who can attach to them, they can make a charge after they do a flicker move. Or a flicker jump, sorry. So they can move 24 inches, then charge. And anything that the Phoenix Lord shoots, and he's got like a torrent weapon, so he's not really missing. Anything he shoots, you then get critical hits on 5s against it. And I believe he also grants the squad lethals. So you basically end up with the Warp Spiders being able to like jump forward 24 inches, flame the hell out of a squad, then charge them with a boatload of lethals. That's why I made the character with the 4 swords, because he gets 10 attacks. So he's 10 attacks. He is only strength 4 AP 2, but it is lethals on 5s probably, right? So Miles was recommending me that I should get the Warp Spiders and the new Phoenix Lord, and since Miles so kindly sold me this Elder army for a good price, I figured I'd listen to his advice. And Miles has beaten me a lot with the Eldar, so it's probably good to return the favour to him at some point. Hello, Phil. Maybe you should balance existing armies before adding new ones. It's a good idea, Phil. I think they should give you a job. I think it's a lot to balance, though. I think it's an awful, like, there is probably too many factions and too many detachments and too many stratagems to try and balance it all. So I guess when a codex or a book has like a couple of good ones, then they get deprioritized. I think that's what's happened with the Blood Angels one, right? Like, Blood Angels essentially have 2 good detachments, so the other 2 detachments kind of just get left because it's like, well, they've got 2 good ones, you know, some armies are struggling to have 1 good one, so Blood Angels can be left a little bit in the moment. Do you remember the guy in Blood Quest? One of those guys coincidentally went into exile, and his story matches the Romania vampire guy a little close to be coincidence. I never finished reading Blood Quest. I did buy it, but I haven't finished it, so maybe I need to do that. I ran 6 units and still couldn't get into every loot in Tank Buster before they hosed me off the table. You ran 6 jump units, sorry, Drizzle. So what does a Daka Daka army look like then? Is it as a crap load of flash kits, or what else is it? My son is 7 and he can also read pretty good, and I promised to play 40k with him as soon as he can read the rules. We'll buy his first combat patrol soon. That's pretty cool, Marcel. Me and my daughter played Hero Quest for the first time a couple of weeks ago. It was quite a wholesome experience, but it was also incredibly frustrating. But we'll play again, I'm sure, at some point. Lamartis is thinking of trying a list with no fire support, aiming for 16 units, plenty of small units, just to overwhelm them and outscore. Do you think this works in the meta? I think it's tough, man, because I think if you don't have like that fire support in the form of like Vindicator tanks or whatever you deem as strong fire support, if you come up against certain armies where there are a lot of high toughness stuff, I think you have real big problems. So it's 3 units of flash grits, 3 units of looters, and 3 units of tank busters. Nice. When's that getting nerfed, Alex? Because Marius has pretty much convinced me to go to a tournament in like 2 months. Is that getting nerfed before this tournament, Marius? You know what else you need to finish? Space Marine 2? I do need to finish Space Marine 2, but I find it hard to get time to play video games, man. But yeah, Space Marine 3 announcement, who's excited for that? Rob says, after the Angelic Inheritors auto-include video, are you planning on doing the same for Liberator Assault Group? You know, I hadn't planned on doing the same, Robin. I mean, if you want to see my Liberator Assault Group / tournament list that I ran in January, like, I really liked that. I would take that list to another tournament. I may very well take it to this. I may very well take it to this event that I'm talking to going about with Marius. Liberator Assault Group gets a lot of bonus from like Outriders, Jump Intercessors, Scouts. Basically anything that get. Like, hold on, my phone is buzzing and I'm busy streaming. Let me, let's just do not disturb here. On until the morning. They might drop an emergency patch if everybody's getting beat by Daka Daka Daka. Yeah, the Liberator Assault. I suppose I could make the auto includes video. I suppose breaking it down from a base point might be a good place to start with Liberator Assault Group. Yeah, I mean, I hadn't planned on doing it, but you aren't the first person that asked for it, which I won't. It's weird because sometimes you make a video and you don't expect it to do very well. I didn't expect the auto include Angelic Inheritors list video to do very well, but it has done well. But I guess it just shows, even after doing YouTube for like, how long have I been doing YouTube? Like 4.5 years now? Maybe just over? Apparently I still know nothing about the YouTube algorithm. I mean, I must admit I don't really research the YouTube algorithm, I just make Blood Angels content. But yeah, sometimes I make a video and I think, I don't know if that video will do very well, and I guess people really liked the Angelic Inheritors video. I'm glad you liked it. Thanks for watching. What made you choose your Blood Angels as your main army? I started them with the 2nd edition, and I like the look of the colour scheme, especially the gold captain. You remember in 2nd edition, Michael, inside the 2nd edition box set, there was a little, like, 2-page thing that showed you how to paint the orcs, the Gretchen, and the Space Marines. And if you remember that little pamphlet, I think it was like on a black bit of paper, it showed how to paint Blood Angels. So that was literally why I chose Blood Angels, because the 2nd edition box set was the box set I started with. Blood Angels were on the box, Blood Angels were on the painting guide, and I knew nothing. So that's why I chose Blood Angels. There's no brilliant story to it. They were literally the army that was on the painting guide. And I still have those Marines, and I've tried to strip the paint off them, because apparently, like, 10-year-old me applied that paint as thick as, like... Well, applied that paint pretty fucking thick, to be honest. And I think those models are always going to maybe have a bit of extra paint on them. Assault Centurions are good with Liberator Assault Group buffs. Assault Centurions are pretty stupid with Liberator Assault Group buffs, honestly. If you use the Oath the Moment on them and you actually get to target monsters or vehicles, you pretty much kill anything in the game. I've had those 3 Assault Centurions kill like a 400-point knight in one round of combat, and I've been in a game where I've done that in one turn, and I've done it against a second knight with the same 3 Assault Centurions 1 turn later. So it's like there's 150-point Centurions in 2 turns killed like 1,000 points of the enemy's army. Centurions with Strength 12, Sustain 2, Twin Linked. They're pretty bonkers, really, aren't they? Three damage each, like the only unit in the Codex where we get 3 damage per swing. Well, I mean, apart from... Actually, does anything else have 3 damage per swing? I've lost for it. Oh, no, I was doing this one. This one at the bottom. So 54, 56, and then a headpiece. I think that's all I need. 54, 56, and a headpiece. Is that right? No, I think I'm missing 54, 55, and a headpiece. Okay. 55. The Brutalis. Oh yeah, the Brutalis is 3 damage a swing. No one really runs the Brutalis though, do they? I tried it one time and I felt it was pretty underwhelming. Like, it kills one thing and then it just gets blown off the table. I don't know if I felt like it was worth the 160 points when I used it, even though it does a lot of mortal wounds. So I used that Bite Chaplain one time with Outriders for his 3 damage Crozius, but in reality the 1 AP felt pretty... Let's shake it. Hold on. Oh, I should probably have this light on. The 1 AP felt pretty bad. Hello McFatson, have you brought some flamers to play this fine evening? John Lennon used a Brutalis and a Storm Raven? That's funny, not many people would use a Brutalis, let alone a Storm Raven.
Matthew Box donated $20 via Super Chat. Heart exclamation UBA. Thank you for always giving us your time and attention, brother. Your opinion and input is appreciated.
Matthew, it's been a hot minute. How the hell are you, dude? Thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I do really appreciate it. I hope you're well, dude. I actually messaged you on Patreon about your tournament that you went to. I think you said you'd gone to LVO and you'd sent me your list beforehand. So if you check your Patreon DMs, I did message you. I was like, what's the next iteration of the list? Like, what have you learned? Can't wait for another Stormraven nerf. Can it be nerfed again? I don't think it's very good. But thank you so much for the 20 USD, McFadden. Yeah, you usually donate as well. Thank you so much, Matthew, for the 20 USD. I do appreciate it. Hit me up on Patreon. I'd like to continue the conversation, figure out where your next list is going. I don't know if you go over Legends models, but with a Sangari Priest on bike looks really neat. I don't usually talk too much about Legends because none of my friends want to play Legends. Oh, you got super sick from LVO. I always find that you can get sick at Warhammer tournaments just because you're on your feet all day, you're run down, you don't drink enough liquid, sometimes you don't eat enough as well. Vitamins are the name of the game, and energy drinks also the name of the game. I've actually been working on a video this week talking about Death Company on jump packs and asking like why they didn't get anything changed in the balance data slate. Maybe I need to do one about the Death Company Dreadnought, because the Death Company Dreadnought versus the Brutalis Dreadnought. Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to make that video next. So I'll do that for next week. I'll talk about the Death Company Dreadnought next week. I suppose maybe I need to play it in a game or two before then, but yeah, I'll talk about that next week. This week's video for Friday is going to be a Death Company jump pack video. Double Box Dread had 3 damage. Yeah, I mean, technically, the Tactical Warsuit has 3 damage, and so does, what's the name of it? The Redemptor Dreadnought has 3 damage, but not many people play Redemptor Dreadnoughts these days. I think they got nerfed because of Iron Storm. It always seems to be that the Iron Hands get our Dreadnoughts nerfed. And then they never get damn unnerfed, they're just nerfed for the entire... Like, once Iron Hands figure out how to use the Dreadnoughts, it's like, okay, those Dreadnoughts are nerfed. And then, for the whole edition, from that point on, you're just like, yeah, those Dreadnoughts are nerfed. Iron Hands figured it out, they're nerfed. God damn Iron Hands. Always making it harder for the rest of us. So I am planning on painting some Blood Angels. I'm just making this one Eldar. Or this one Warp Spider, if I can, first. Fiddly damn little guns. The Death Company Dreadnought hits crazy hard. But does he hit as hard as the Brutalis Dreadnought? Because I think that's my issue. Like, I feel like the Brutalis is probably just going to hit harder. And the Brutalis can do 12 mortal wounds, right? And I think 12 mortal wounds is like quite a meaningful number of mortal wounds. Like, if you were able to do 12 mortal wounds on the charge, that's pretty freaking scary. And I think that's my issue with the Death Company Dreadnought. It's like, wouldn't I rather just have a Brutalis and potentially have 12 mortal wounds? Because 12 mortal wounds to me sounds not bonkers, but it's pretty darn strong, right? I use the Death Company Dreadnought if it got it shoot. Oh, you would use it if it got its old rules of shoot back, fight first stuff. Yeah, its new rule of like what's that called? Driven by Fury, I think is pretty underwhelming. I haven't been tempted to use it at all. The Brutalis Dreadnought is indeed 20 points cheaper, which I think makes it better in almost every way, shape, or form than the Death Company one, right? In my head, Redemptors still do d6 plus 2 damage, and then I get sad when it's 3. Yeah, it is sad that it's 3 these days. Michael's been toying with the Dreadnought list being led by a Tech Marine. I don't think it would be super competitive, but having 3 Death Company Dreads, 3 Brutalis Dreads charging up the battlefield could be fun. Yeah, I just think it's a bit too costly, but I think it could be fun. McFatson, thanks so much for the 5. Starting to write Death Company into my list. Their Crusade rolls are super fun, and my Infernus plus Drop Pod Suicide drop fits the theme. I hope, McFatson. Evening, Krychek. I hope you painted your Death Company drop. I hope you painted your Drop Pod and Infernus Marines black. If they're a upfront, we ain't surviving sort of squad, I feel like, based on the fact of your love of flamers, they should have been painted black. Did you do it? Yeah, I'm not going to be painting any elves tonight. I'm just making this last one guy, and then the squad is finished, and that means that they will be ready for spray paint maybe sometime this weekend. So, wanting to just get this guy finished. And then I've got 2 Blood Angels characters that, like, I guess I'm still experimenting a little bit with Angelic Inheritors, but I have started winning games with Angelic Inheritors. So, if I do end up, like, I was looking at a tournament actually just before I got on stream, and the tournament would be the weekend of the 17th of May. So it's like, it's about 8 weeks away. That's usually a good amount of time for me. Like I've said before, I only really play 1 game a week. So if I go to an event like 8 weeks away, that gives me 8 games to try and refine my Angelic Inheritors list. If I feel good about Angelic Inheritors in like 4 weeks time, maybe I'll stick with it. If I don't feel good about it in 4 weeks time, then I'm going to go back to Liberator Assault Group, and I think if I play Liberator Assault Group, I think I'm going to run 2 squads of company heroes. Just to I don't know. People I feel like people just don't know how to deal with company heroes. I like them inside an Impulsor as well because of the firing deck. The last event I went to with Liberator Assault Group, I ran 2 Impulsors. I thought they were very, very useful. No one wants to waste time killing Impulsors. So what happens is they sit around for the entire game. You can tank shot with them, you can bolter fire with them, you can perform actions with them. So if I go back to Liberator Assault Group, I'm going to do 2 squads of company heroes. I'll lead both with a character. I think. And hopefully that combined with Sangregard will be pretty difficult for people to deal with. Oh, you can hit the Death Company Dreadnought with the Lost to Rage stratagem for additional point of damage, an additional point of attack, an additional strength. I can't imagine the strength means all that much because you're twin linked on both weapons, right? But additional point of damage is nice. I'm telling you, Marius, company heroes are great. Everyone underestimates how survivable they are. They're one of beyond the Sangregard. They might be my favorite unit in 10th edition. Clint says I do the company heroes on the 6 Blade Guard. That's what I did in the tournament in January, Clint. And I actually kind of liked that. But I think it's good sometimes to iterate on stuff. I mean the Blade Guard got cheaper. Lost Rage doesn't add damage. What's it do? Add attack. I must admit I don't know all that much about the Death Company stratagems because I never used them, right? I mean, not many people do use the Death Company stratagems, I feel like. Attack, strength, and AP. Okay. I mean, the attacks makes more sense to use on a unit than... How the hell do you paint Death Company? Is that... Are you actually asking how I paint Death Company, or are you asking how you paint them if you're a slapjob person? Right. I need to grab a file for this tiny little bit of... I don't know what this is, lightning or something? I think you probably use black contrast paint, honestly. Can you have a Judasart and Ancient with Blade Guard brick? No. Because I'm pretty sure the Ancient says that he can only be attached if you're using a captain. They make black contrast? Yeah, and apparently it's really good. Someone in chat, what's the name of the really good black contrast paint? It might be like Black Templar contrast, but I'm convinced there's a really good one that people recommend. Black Legion, there you go. It was close with Black Templar. So the warp spiders come with this little bit of lightning that apparently you can stick on the bases, but it doesn't fit very well. There's like 3 of them. I'm just going to cut all 3 off the sprue and see which one seems to fit the best. It's actually not a great way to paint black armor. Someone here has a good technique and a bad painting black armor video. That would be you with the bad painting black armor video, would it be, Marius? You got a link? We'll watch it. I can put it on screen and we'll watch your black painting video and we'll rate it. We'll rate it. You won't feel judged if all my chat come and watch your video, will you? You've got to be nice if we watch this video. Oh, it's an hour long? Yeah, right, we're not watching an hour long, come on. You gotta level, like, we need shorts from you, Marius. 1 minute short on how to paint black armor. If you make that, the next time McFatson's in the stream, I'll watch it. Because my technique for painting black is horrifically slow. I edge highlight every model with what's the paint? Like the Space Wolf paint? Is it like Fenrisian Grey? Like, my black is super slow. Right, I don't really know how these lightning things go on, so in true Blood Angels Commander fashion, I'm just going to slap them on. And hopefully they don't look too bad. What's your thoughts on us losing the non-Blood Angels upgraded Oath? It's a weird one, Matthew, because a lot of people were using Bloodless Angels to be very, very, very... That's what people were calling them, like the non-Blood Angels things. They were getting called Bloodless Angels. And they were very, very strong, right? Like, it kind of did the best of both worlds, right? Like, it had the +1 to Oath, had all the really good Space Marine tanks, and then finally it had, like, the +2 strength and stuff like that. So I get it. Like, it was pretty strong. A lot of people were using it. Am I happy we lost it? Probably not, in terms of like losing options is never a feels good moment. Do I understand why we lost it? Yeah. But I think it's just the way that we lost it and didn't get anything in return, right? It's like we lost it, but any of the other underpowered units just remained underpowered. Like, in our codex, there's like, what, 6 Death Company datasheets? There's Death Company with bolt rifles, there's Death Company on... I mean, if you include Astaroth and Lamartas, it's more. But there's about 6 to 8 units in our codex that are Death Company, and I don't think any of them are good. Like, I am not using any of those units. I don't think I would use any of them in Liberator Assault Group. I don't think I would use any of them in Angelic Inheritors. I don't think I've got room for this other lightning thing. I mean, maybe we could put it aside to this one. Dry brushing on black is key. It's way easier than actually edge highlighting. Yeah, I mean that's the scheme that I'm going for on these guys. I'm gonna do them black, and then I'm gonna dry brush the entirety of them. Alright, I think I just have this tiny little aspect thing to make, which I think is just this. Just stick the aspect in the middle of the base, and then that is the Eldar finished. And get onto some real models, like some Blood Angels. Mopar says I mostly use contrast paint. Dan says 95 points plus 80 points captain doesn't seem worth it for one AP2 2 damage weapon for the precision. I think the Blade Guard would be better and more survivable, and all of AP2 2 damage and a Judisaur. I think, Dan, if you've not played the company heroes, give them a couple of plays, because I don't even really know why I put them in my list to begin with. Honestly, like, I think I liked having a captain, and I knew I wanted him to attach to something, and I don't really like attaching a captain to assault intercessors, because I think, like, after your initial charge, there's just no survivability there, right? Like, 5 assault intercessors do not have much survivability. So I just didn't like that. So I guess at some point I decided to try the captain with the company heroes. And the thing is, like, company heroes are probably going to be in an impulsor, right? So then they actually have some pretty good shooting. They have like a devastating wounds bolt rifle. They can get like 3 shots within 12, and it's flat 2 damage. Their heavy bolter is sustained 2, and it's 3 damage. I actually rolled 666 on that heavy bolter one time, so that heavy bolter suddenly became 9 shots. But AP1, 3 damage. And then I think the 4 wounds is actually a really meaningful breakpoint. And the -1 to wound is also actually kind of meaningful as well. So, like, I think if you haven't run company heroes, I implore you to try them. Don't just look at them on the data sheet and think they don't look that good. Because I played them at a GT, and everyone knows what's coming, so get your shot glasses ready. I won the GT because of the company heroes. Because so many of my opponents underestimated how difficult they would be to kill. They were like, it's 4 Space Marines with a captain. That's easy to kill. Well, when they're -1 to wound the entire time, and they can Armor of Contempt for free the entire time, they become a lot more difficult to kill, especially when they're 4 wounds per model, right? So, like, I think I got charged by a Chaos Knight. Like, you know the Chaos Knight that's got... I think it's the one that had, like, so it's like the Armiger equivalent. Brigand, is it? You know, like, it's got like a real big nasty power claw. Let me think for a second. The Chaos Knight, Brigand... Let me see. Chaos Knight. Brigand. War Dog Brigand, that's what I'm looking for. Melee. Nope. I thought it was a Brigand. It's definitely a War Dog. Which War Dog is it? Yeah, I think it was this one, right? The one that's got the Reaper chain talon? So, like, I get charged by this, right? 6 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 10, -3/3. Now, I think if you put this into Blade Guard, you'd probably lose at least 2, maybe 3 Blade Guard, right? Because he's hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s against Blade Guard. He put this into the company heroes, right? The Carnivore has the claw. Carnivore. Yeah, is that what I was looking at? Maybe I'm... So I think he hit me with this. That sounds right. So he hits this into the company heroes, and I think he misses 1 time. So I've got 5 to... He's got 5 going into the company heroes. Well, it's -1 to wound, so rather than wounding on 2s, it's 3s. And I think he dropped like 2 more, so 3 go into the company heroes. AP3, problem, but I have Armor of Contempt, so I'm saving on 5s. I save 2, and all of a sudden, his Strength 10, AP3, 3 damage thingy-majigger, Reaper Chain Talon, like, he doesn't, like, his 150-point knight, 140-point knight doesn't even kill 1 company hero. It puts 1 on 1 wound. Oh no! Oh no, there's a company hero on 1 wound. I mean, I could have failed another save and I'd still only lose 1 model, right? Like, you would have lost 2 Blade Guard. Blade Guard are what? Like, 27 points per model? 80 divided by 3, I can't do that in my head. Yeah, about 27. Company heroes are about the same. So, I think unless you've played company heroes, you'll be surprised at how often that -1 to wound is very meaningful, and the 4 wounds per model is also very meaningful. So, like, 3 damage weapons, super efficient at killing Blade Guard. 3 damage weapons against company heroes, super inefficient, right? So I don't really take the company heroes for their damage output. I take them because they're super cheap and they're super survivable. Essentially, the way you have to look at them is like they're the equivalent of like T7. And the reason that I want you to think of them as T7 is like, you hit them with Strength 8, you wound them on 3s. You hit them with Strength 9, you wound them on 3s. You hit them with Strength 10, you wound them on 3s. Do I need to go on? Like, you need to get, you cannot get company heroes on less than a 3 to wound. Is that right? Yeah? Captain plus heroes plus an impulsor, is it worth it? Yes. It's hugely worth it. I think, like I was saying, I think in the next, if I go to another GT, I might run 2 of them in Liberator Assault Group. They're that good. I was running them in Angelic Inheritors until they went up in points. But even at the 10 points more, if I could fit them in inheritors, I would keep them. Blade Guard are 80 points now, not 60. You always have to take the captain with the company heroes. Yeah, but the thing is, see, if you take the captain, right? If you take the captain, then you have, again for free, because you can use precision for free, because the captain has the use a stratagem for free, right? So if you take the captain and you use his rage-fueled warrior, not rage-fueled warrior, his finest hour thing to get 8 attacks, then essentially you have like, I think it's 13 or 14 AP2 2 damage attacks with precision. Like, you can literally precision out any character that the enemy have then, right? So like, yeah, you could just precision anything. I don't know many things that will be able to be, because the champion hits on 2s and the captain will hit on 2s. And if you're in inheritors, then you're rerolling 1s. If you're in Liberator Assault Group, then you're hitting at high strength. I don't know, I'm a huge fan of company heroes. I think I prefer them to the Blade Guard. My current list has Blade Guard over company heroes, but I think they are like, I don't think that company heroes are any worse than Blade Guard. In the GT that I was at in January, I actually think that the company heroes were possibly better in that meta. Having an impulsor in 1,000 points is great because of the number of bolter shots and the tank shock. Having impulsors is just great in general. Unless you have +1 to wound, the yeah, I mean, if the enemy's got +1 to wound, then I guess that massively hurts the company heroes, but it doesn't seem to come up all that often. Evening, Carl, did I say hello to you? I'm sorry. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Brain fart tonight. It's been a long week at work again. Question about the company heroes. On the data sheet it says you need to have a captain or chapter master attached. If the captain gets killed with precision, would the unit wipe? No. You just have to have the captain attached. What am I trying to say? Just have the captain attached at the start of the battle. It doesn't wipe the unit if Huh. I think my wife has taken one of the cables that I use to charge my lamp. What the hell? I need that cable because otherwise my lamp will have no battery. I'll have to be back in just 1 second and ask my wife what she's done with my charging cable. That will be 1 second. I was thinking for a minute that I was losing my mind, but no, my wife needed to charge her AirPods. Is 2 squads of 10 intercessors too much in a 2,000 point army? Probably. Intercessors aren't exactly the most amazing unit, I feel like. How have people been finding intercessors since they got the buff to get more shots? I must admit I haven't used them since they got that buff. But I mean, it was a sort of somewhat meaningful buff, I guess. Like, quite a few additional shots in combat, in shooting. But yeah, Blood Angels players don't usually take a whole heap of intercessors. Who here really thought the +1 to Oath was intentional for divergent chapters with no specific units? I don't think anyone thought it was intentional, but Warhammer players will generally use any rule that benefits them. If it's written on a bit of paper, we will use it to benefit us. I remember I played so much. You remember when, even in Vintage, how you doing? You remember when there was the librarian that could have a jump pack, and there was a special, like, I think it was maybe it wasn't called an enhancement. There was like a relic you could give him. So you get like a 3rd psychic power, and then you could use that psychic power from like a different psychic discipline because of the wording. So it was like you could take 2 powers from the Blood Angel psychic tree, then you could take 1 power from another psychic tree. I mean, nobody really thought that was intentional, but my goodness, everybody used it, right? It was getting used so much that everybody everywhere was using it. So yeah, I feel like I definitely went to a tournament. Yeah, I definitely went to a tournament with that librarian who could like use he could jump 12 inches, then he could use Wings of Sanguinius to fly another 12 inches, and then he could use Null Zone to remove all invulnerable saves within a bubble of 6 inches. So it was like if the enemy was within 30 inches of him, there's a good chance that you could just remove their invulnerable saves. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody was using that, even though it was probably not intentional. But if the rules are written in a way you can do it, then people will use it. Well, I mean, I first cottoned onto it because I saw like the guys from Vanguard Tactics using it, and I was like, well, Vanguard Tactics are using it because they're like a pretty big YouTube channel. Then I'm going to be using it, right? Because Vanguard Tactic guys know the rules pretty well. So yeah, I don't think many people really thought that the +1 to wound from the Oath the Moment was intended, but people sure as hell used it, right? Because rules as written, that's totally fine. I missed that jump librarian. He was so strong. He was bonkers. It was like, I'm right in thinking that was how you played him, right? You could jump 12 inches, then you could use the psychic power to move 12 inches, and then you could null zone. I remember I played that at a tournament, right? I think I played against Harlequins, and they jumped in on me because Harlequins are fast, right? All those jet bikes and stuff. Like and the thing about the jet bikes is that they have like a stratagem, I believe, or at least in 9th edition they had a stratagem where they could get like a 3-up invuln save on the whole unit. So like his tactic was like he's going to jump in on top of me, try and do an absolute bunch of damage, and then 3-up invuln his whole unit for the turn and hopefully survive. So the guy uses his 3-up invuln strat or whatever, and then I was just like, yeah, null zone, so I'm just gonna make it that you can't use any invulnerable saves within like 6 inches of the Psyker, and the guy's face just dropped. And he's like, I didn't know you could do that. And I was like, you know, I guess it is what it is. Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't know. To be fair, that was one of the first tournaments I'd gone to in like 5 years. So maybe on another day when I was more experienced, I might have given my opponent the heads up that I could do that. But to be fair, I didn't give him the heads up because I didn't know anything about Harlequins. I didn't have any idea how fast they were and that they were going to be on top of me in turn 1. Did you go Mephiston Red for what? My librarian? No, I usually paint my librarians blue, except Mephiston. Or are you asking if this character is Mephiston Red? Because he's not, no. I don't typically paint my Blood Angels Mephiston Red. I might use Mephiston Red for like some darker shaded areas maybe, but in general I use Evil Sun Scarlet. And then I wash it down with like Agrax Earthshade to get it a bit darker. Have I thought about using Koila Green Shade? I don't actually know what that is, my friend. I've painted my models the same way now for like a decade or so. So, and I like everything to match. So I'm much more likely to experiment with like other paints or stuff if I'm doing this Elder army, which I'm obviously doing now because I just finished building the models. But in terms of like my Blood Angels, I really do like the models to match. So no, I haven't used it. I actually must admit I'm not familiar with what Green Shade even is. It's fun to show enemies what having no invulnerable save feels like. Yeah, do you know what Blood Angels get? We usually get dicked over for that, don't we? Like, we never have invuln saves when we need it. We got Death Company, no invuns. We got Jump Intercessors, we got no invuns. We got tanks, we got no invuns. So yeah, it was a nice little patch, that 9th edition, when you could just get rid of everybody else's invuns and be like, haha, now you feel the same as we feel, huh? Green Shade is the Carbon Crimson in green. It's a green ink, so green instead of the standard black brown for inking. No, I must admit I don't use it. What would you use it on top of? Like, you use it on top of red? Like, what sort of effect are you getting from Green Shade? Sorry, is it Games Workshop paint or is it something else? Until recently, the Sangreguard and Mephiston didn't have invulnerable saves. Yeah, it was almost a crime that Mephiston didn't have invulnerable saves, right? It felt like the longest time he never had an invuln. He still didn't get a good invuln. Like, he's back. Do you remember way back when Mephiston had a refractor field? Was it not? Like, everybody else had good invulns. Mephiston always had the lame one. Apparently, he only had 10 points for the war gear, where everybody else had like 25. Brian's building a repulsor. What weapon should I go with? Assuming it's not the Executioner, Brian, I would build it with the Las Talon and the Twin Las Cannon, because I don't really rate heavy bolters at all on like tanks and vehicles. Heavy bolters to me are not that exciting. And the Gatling Cannon, I think, is the other option for on top, right? And the Gatling Cannon is dog shit. So I would do Las Talon plus Twin Link Las Cannon. That's how I've got mine built anyway. I actually think that the model might be allowed to have a like, you might be able to have the turret gunner holding a Gatling Cannon, but I don't know if that's on the war gear anymore. That might be gone. Because thinking about it, mine has the Las. The Las Cannon is front mounted. Then the Las Talon is on the turret, and then the gunner on top. He's sitting with like, he could have like an onslaught cannon, but I actually don't think you can pick that on the weapon. Like, that isn't an option anymore, right? Even though that's how the model comes. That's kind of confusing. The tank is covered in guns. It's like the designer vomited bits onto it. Yeah, the repulsor is a confused model, isn't it? I remember, honestly, like Marius, I remember when the repulsor came out, where everyone's like losing their minds. They're so excited, like there's so many guns on it, and then you get the rules and you're like, all right, it's a stubber. You know, that, you know, like when a Space Marine tank comes with a stubber, I feel like I don't know how to say this, right? Like, even Firstborn Marines had bolt guns, right? Like, bolters are very underwhelming these days. They're strength 4, they're no AP. Like, you can't really get more, like, you can't get more iconic than a bolt gun, but you actually can't get worse rules than a bolt gun. Like, the bolt gun has terrible rules. And then it's like, you get the repulsor that comes with a stubber, and you're like, am I supposed to be excited about the stubber? Like why does this thing have a stubber? Like, the Primaris Marines couldn't even afford a bolt gun? I don't know. The requisition from Mars or wherever the hell it was that day, didn't, you know, like, and next you can have some stubbers, yay! And everyone was like, okay. Like, are we scraping the barrel here or what? The gunner with the minigun is part of the defensive weapons now. Oh yeah, correct. I mean, the defensive array is actually okay because it just gets a boatload of shots, but yeah. Do you know what? It was probably best they simplified that, because it was kind of silly how many different guns you had on the repulsor. I remember like firing a repulsor at like a tournament and like trying to look it up and be like, I definitely fired every gun I have, right? Because there's a lot of guns on this thing and I am confused. Green shade is a citadel paint I use on top of red, and it gives a similar effect to Null Oil, but I think it personally looks better than Null Oil. Okay. I actually don't use Null Oil on my red painted models. I use Agrax Earthshade. I use Null Oil more like for metals, and I guess that sort of thing. If you're running 6 Sandguard, would you always use Dante, or I was thinking of using a captain for the free rapid ingress? I think the advantage to using Dante means that you don't need to give the Sangre Guard Oath of Moment. So I think, like, if you use Dante, yes, it's going to cost you 1 CP for rapid ingress, but it does mean that your Oath of Moment is free for use anywhere else on the battlefield, because usually hitting on 2s is more than enough, right? I mean, you can still go all in and go like Dante hitting on 2s and Oath of Moment. Like if there's something you just, you know, like absolutely categorically have to kill. But I do think that there's a lot of times in the games that I play where I have Dante plus 6 Sangre Guard, and I feel like, okay, because Dante's leading those 6, I'm quite free to put my Oath of Moment somewhere else on the battlefield, and I like that flexibility. Because I usually run a lot of tanks, and I feel that tanks get a lot of value from Oath of Moment. So usually I can be like, yeah, that Vindicator tank, it's going to get Oath of Moment, because Dante leading that squad hitting on 2s don't really feel like they need Oath of Moment to me. Would that be fair to say? Null Oil over Mephiston Red makes some great red leather. I must admit, I don't really paint red leather. I like the fact that they took Blade Guard down in points. Like, I do think that's a cool change. I think Blade Guard were pretty playable at the old points value, so I think like now they could legitimately be good for Blood Angels. I'm happy about the Blade Guard change. I'd be more happy if I see more people like fielding Blade Guard and putting them into Blood Angels lists. But I definitely think I could. Like, I definitely think that could happen. I definitely think Blade Guard for Blood Angels could be stronger / more competitive now, or more seen. I guess we'll see if people start running like small units of Blade Guard, or if we see maybe lots of big units. I kind of feel like small is good, but maybe I'm just like team small units is a way that I think if you've got more units on the battlefield, it just feels like you can do more actions, you can react to more threats. Big deathball units have a tendency to sometimes get picked off, and when they get picked off it's super costly. And which Space Marine faction at the moment is strongest? Ultramarines have been doing very well with Guilliman, double oath, +1 to wound from oath. Lots of Vindicator tanks. But am I a fan of Ultramarines? Not really. I'd rather be playing Blood Angels. Hi Phil, welcome back. I don't know, I feel like Games Workshop need to do a new meta watch. I feel like the last one was ages ago. It's like they just forgot they were doing it or something. I'm ready for a new Meta Watch video. I like their Meta Watch videos. The Meta Watch videos are probably the most... Like, they're the videos that I probably watched the most on the official GW website. Like, on the official GW YouTube channel. Probably watched the Meta Watch ones the most. Do I think Angelic Inheritors can compete? I mean, I'm playing Angelic Inheritors at the moment, dude. I like them, I just think I need more practice with them. From a hobby point of view, what's taking so long with Assault Terminators? Yeah, I think Assault Terminators will probably get refreshed next edition. Their rules have been pretty dire this entire edition. I would hope that they get a refresh with the new edition and maybe some better rules, I feel like. Assault Terminators make sense for the next edition. So yeah, I thought maybe next edition we might see Vanguard Veterans. I also thought we might see the Chaplain with a jump pack. Hey Jeff, how you doing? So maybe we'll see like Assault Terminators, Vanguard Veterans, a Chaplain with a jump pack. But who knows, I suppose. I mean, they'll probably add some new shooting units, because if the rumours are to be believed that like a bunch of firstborn tanks are going to get squatted, then they possibly need to add a new Primaris I can't imagine they'll add another shooting dreadnought, right? Because they just added the Ballistus last edition. So maybe we'll get like some sort of Vindicator style Primaris tank. I think that would, I mean, that might be the launch box, like Vanguard Veterans, Assault Terminators, a new Primaris tank, and then Chaplain with a jump pack and like some other character maybe? Could I see that as a launch box? Maybe? Oh, excuse me. Watch Vanguard Veterans go to a unit size of 3 or 6. Jim, you can see yourself out, mate. Find the door. We don't need your negativity here. No, I'm joking, Jim. You can stay. It's okay. Vanguard Veterans in 3. Nah, come off it. Get out of town. We got Jump Intercessors in 5. Vanguard Veterans are in 5. Vanguard Veterans is Legends. No. Get out. You find the door as well. Egypt. What the hell? Vanguard Veterans aren't going Legend. Come on then. We are literally 1 year, 3 months from the new edition. Give me your predictions then. Like, what was the last one? Leviathan. Leviathan. What did we get in here again? I can't really turn the box over because everything will fall out. Let me put the light on it. Now we can turn it over. So Ballistus Dreadnought, 140 points. 5 Stern Guard, 100 points. That's 240. 10 Infernus Marines, God knows what that costs. 80 per each. 400 points. The Biologist Apothecary, 85, I think. Terminator is 170. So 170 plus 85 is like 655. Librarian and Terminator Armor. Let's call him like 90. 755. Captain Terminator Armor, let's call him 100. 855. Thanks so much for subscribing, Martin. Apothecary, sorry, Lieutenant with Combi Weapon, like 75, so it's like 930 points of Space Marines in the block. Come on then, you've got, you know, you've got a minute, 930 points in the box. The Librarian is 75. Alright, well let's just call it 900. I'm sure my maths was wrong as well, because I was trying to do it quickly. And it's like 10, 15 at night time, and I've had a busy day with work and the kids. So you've got to give me a pass on doing maths this late at night. So if you had to pick the 900 points of stuff that's going in the 11th edition box right now, what are you putting in it? 900 points of Marines. Think of the firstborn stuff that hasn't yet been Legends, like Vindicator tanks, Predator tanks, technically Land Raiders as well, but I don't think they would put a Land Raider in a starting box. It's too big a model, and it's not really a starting model, is it? 10 Assault Intercessors. Oh, we don't need more Assault Intercessors. Get out. I mean, I've already got like 60 Assault Intercessors. A Lieutenant with a jump pack. Primaris Siege Tank. Another 10. Another 10! VT! Apparently VT just wants every Space Marine player to have 100 Intercessors. Every box ever. The Combat Patrol has Intercessors. The Indomitus has Intercessors. Like, every box has Intercessors. Desolation Marines and 2 Primaris. Desolation Marines. Come on, dude. I don't even know what that emote is, but you are trolling me. McFadden said he would kill for a Lieutenant with a jump pack. Really? Would that be that good? Assault Terminator Captain, 5 Assault Terminators, a Chaplain with a jetpack, 5 Vanguard Veterans, 10 Breacher Marines. What the hell is a Breacher Marine? 5 Primaris Devastators with las cannons. There you go. Breacher Marines. Are these the guys with the shields? Like from 30k? Is that what we're talking? I mean, the shields would be pretty cool. Resurrect the Librarian Dreadnought. Even if they resurrect the Librarian Dreadnought, it's not going in the starter edition box. Real talk, I don't have any intercessors or assault intercessors. I'd love some. Are you for serious, McFatson? I would think a Predator and Assault Terminators are pretty iconic, so need to be redone. My friend wants a hover dreadnought. The frick is a hover dreadnought? Shield and shotgun marines, that would rule. I mean, that would look pretty cool. Is that what they've got in 30k? Because I must admit, I don't play 30k. I've never really ever. The furthest I ever got with 30k was I saw, like, do you remember a few years ago there was that Betrayal at Karth box set? Like, the furthest I ever got with 30k was I put that Betrayal of Karth box set, like, into my basket, like, on the Games Workshop website, and was like, this looks cool, I would like that. But in reality, I don't have time to do it, so I never really got far with 30k. But I do know there's guys with shields and guns in 30k. Is it shotguns? McFadden just proxies intercessors with Infernus Marines. I mean, that's one of the best uses for intercessors, for Infernus Marines. I feel like McFadden is like proxy them as something else. That is legit one of their best uses. Don't hate the player, hate the game. With Gilliman in charge, I can see 30k style Marines making an appearance in 40k. Did I just break that? Or did it just move really funnily in my hand? I hope it just moved funnily in my hand. I mean, one thing that Primaris Marines generally tend to do is, like, the squads fill one distinct purpose, right? Like, we do not really have a squad of Primaris Marines. I was going to say maybe the company heroes, but I don't even think the company heroes, like, I don't think there is, like, too many mixed purpose squads, right? It's generally they have their one distinct purpose, like it's 10 guys all with the exact same weaponry or the exact same loadout, and they do Primaris style things. Alex says Assault Terminators, Vanguard Veterans, Hellblasters, Assault Captain, Jump Chaplain, Jump Lieutenant, Judas R, and a new Gladiator Inferno tank. Oh yeah, you've been hoping for the Blood Angels Ball Gladiator, haven't you? If they ever do that, I very much doubt it'll be in a new edition starter box as well. I mean, have we seen, like, I know Black Templars got, like, you know, like, Black Templars get their version of, like, Land Raiders, and I think they get them with Impulsors as well, where they get to, like, add extra guns to it. But have we actually seen very many, or any Primaris vehicles that have, like, real chapter heraldry or chapter distinction within them? I don't think we have really seen that, right? They're never releasing another box with a Judasaur, says VT. Why not? What if the new starter box is Salamander themed? I think that was there not already, like, a leak of like a Codex Salamander coming? Like, maybe you're gonna get a Salamander Combat Patrol McFatson, like, that could be a thing. Like, I already thought we saw a picture of, like, Codex Salamanders in the roadmap, right? That's the thing that exists. You'll get Ultramarines and like it. Look at this. Look at this fucking Marius Gage. Ultramarine fanboy. Extreme. You'll get Ultramarines and like it. God damn you, Marius. Marius, I hope we get to play at this GT. Because then, if we get to play, you'll see what the power of real Space Marines looks like. I better not say this and then we play and then you just smoke me with Gilliman, huh? Speaking of new boxes, the new World Eater box is interesting. 10 Berserkers, 10 Cultists, and a Demon Prince. I didn't realise that the new Demon Prince was so big, man. Like, I have the one from a few years back, but the new one's bonkers sized. Colin was building one for his Death Guard with the wings on it, and I was like, oh my god, I didn't realise this thing was so big. Real Space Marines, exactly. Real Space Marines covered in the blood red armour of the Blood Angels. None of this blue nonsense. No, I always have good games against Ultramarines. Colin was an Ultramarines player until he sold all his Ultramarines and went Death Guard. I never really understood, like, I always thought his Ultramarines were pretty strong. I guess he just decided to become a heretic one day. Maybe, you know. Um, 11th edition Hope from McFatson. The launch box would be versus Demons. So let's go back a few editions then. 10th edition was versus Tyranids. 8th edition was against Death Guard. 9th edition? What was Indomitus against? Someone remind me, what was Indomitus against? Necrons, thank you, yeah. So we've had Necrons. Death Guard, Nids. And then there was the Shadow Spear box set. Oh, Shadow Spear was against like CSM, right? That was like halfway through 8th edition. Fifth edition was Orcs. That was Black Reach, right? Assault on Black Reach. I've got that box set. Black Reach, my beloved. What did... Oh, Black Reach had a Dreadnought in it, didn't it? Oh, I can't reach it. Assault on Black Reach. What did we get way back when? Oh wait, Terminators. What the hell are these? Tactical Marines. Tactical Marines. A Captain. A Dreadnought. Terminators. You actually didn't get that much back then. I don't remember how much this box cost, honestly. But it actually doesn't seem like you got that much. If you compare that to Indomitus, it actually feels like quite a lot less, right? There was a combat squad, yeah, 2 tactical squad combat squads. I think I've traded all my orcs to Brett again. Like that's usually my tactic, is any time I get orc models, I trade them to Brett and he gives me his Space Marine models. We've been doing that for like the best part of 15 years. It costs £40. Well, I guess for £40 that's good value. How the hell do you remember what that even cost? That's like... That's... Oh. Blackreach, what year is that? How can you remember what that cost, man? Not suitable for children under 3. Well, my son Michael is 3, so he can use this. I don't think it says it doesn't have a... It doesn't have a date on it. Contents may vary. It actually says that on the back of the box. Like, what contents may vary? No, it doesn't say. It doesn't say. Oh, it does say a year. 2008. 2008. 17 years ago. Man, time goes fast, doesn't it? 250 points for a 5-man unit of Terminators. Terminators are always so expensive, aren't they? They only had 1 wound back then as well. Isn't that right? They just had 1 wound? I don't think it was till like 9th edition or something that they had 3 wounds. Or sorry, I don't think it was till 9th edition that they maybe got 2 wounds, and it was like... Oh, it felt like ages. The Terminators were languishing on 1 wound for way too long, it felt like. I am making such a mess of this guy's foot, god damn it. That was really awkward area to paint in there. One wound, 2 up save. It was insane. Blackreach is almost old enough to graduate high school. That's correct. That is correct. Cool box though, man, huh? Do you remember, I was gonna say, did you guys... When you were losing a game of 40k back in 2008 playing Blackreach, did you ever hit your opponent with these things? Do you remember these measuring sticks? They were pretty flexible, but they were also pretty hard plastic. I definitely hit Andrew a few times with these when he used some cheese to kill me, as he always does. I think I definitely got hit back a few times with them as well, though. Good times, huh? It was the only place to get orc choppers for years after, was it? I had no idea. I must have got Blackreach right around the time that I moved flat, and when I moved flat, I guess I moved away from all my friends for a couple of years, so I didn't play 40k for like... I think, like, I don't really remember playing Blackreach or playing 5th edition too much, so I think my hiatus from 40k was like 5th, 6th and 7th. Came back right at the end of 7th edition. So I played like 2nd through the very beginning of 5th, and then I've been back since the start of 7th, or sorry, since the end of 7th. So I think I think it was just I moved house, and so I bought Blackreach, and then I moved, and then I wasn't close to my friends anymore. I didn't have a car at that point in my life. So yeah, if you don't have a car, it can be somewhat difficult to play Warhammer, I guess. Got a jet. Mike Fatson, thanks so much for the super chats tonight. It is always appreciated. You stay safe, my friend. I appreciate it. I hope you figure out how to paint your black paint. Marius is going to make a short for you, and we'll watch it on stream next time. Ah, the memories of the big red whipping sticks. You know what I'm talking about, Alex. You did some BDSM with your friends with those red whipping sticks, I bet, because we definitely hit the shit out of each other with them. Here's a question. Why does the Imperium not have helicopters? They would fit into an Imperial Guard army. I mean, back when the models were made of metal, it would have probably been pretty hard to make helicopters without... I would have thought. So maybe it's just like a... I don't know, or maybe like in the lore we'd advanced beyond helicopters as a human. Sorry, as a human, as a race or something. Like we have hover tanks and shit. We don't need helicopters. We just have grav platforms, right? Helicopters are probably not super efficient in, like, if you think of 40k as a setting where it's like all out war. You know, like helicopters, if they get like, you ever watch the movie Black Hawk Down? You know, like they get hit by like one thing and then the friggin' blades are going like, and then it's like, we got a Black Hawk Down. That's my best American accent. We got a Black Hawk Down. I love that movie. I've actually bought it on 4K. I just haven't watched it yet. I still use my red sticks. Broken in half is 9-inch measuring, but they're handy. I bet you if they're only 9 inches, they'd be pretty good for your enemy passed their save, give them a crack of the red measuring stick. Some human worlds could still have a level of technology. Yet I also believe helicopters need a certain density of atmosphere, though, right? That's a thing. That's why, like, across the knuckles, that would be sore. That's why, like, you know, when people like hike up Mount Everest and stuff, they actually sometimes can't get rescued because, like I don't know the math and I don't know the specific height, but at some point, like as you go up Mount Everest is, oh, I watched a documentary on it recently. I should know. Mount Everest. Like it's 8,500 meters, so it's basically, there's 1,600 meters in a mile, or 1,640 or something. So it's like 5.2 miles high. I believe the atmosphere is only like 26 miles or something, right? So like, at some point you start going high enough where the air is thin enough that helicopters actually don't really work. Like I think at the top of Everest is like, if you have a problem at the top of Everest, you cannot be airlifted off Everest. Like the atmosphere isn't thick enough for the helicopter to fly at the top of Everest. So like if you have, that's why, I mean, I guess that's why like people die at the top of Everest every year, because if you try and go up there and you're not super healthy and you get into problems, then you have a real problem, because like they can't send a chopper up to rescue, and at that height they can't really carry you down either, because the air is like half as thin up there, I believe. Like the air you breathe at sea level is like, what, 20% oxygen or something? The air on top of Everest is like, I think it's like 11 or 12% oxygen. So arguably the air is half as thin or something. So like maybe the reason that we don't have helicopters, I mean, I'm clutching at straws here, but maybe the reason we don't have helicopters in the Imperium is because there's worlds or planets where the atmosphere is thinner. I mean, that seems like it would make logical sense. Whether or not Games Workshop intended it to make logical sense is maybe just another thing. They just maybe never modeled any They maybe never just modelled any, and here's me trying to justify it, like, oh yeah, the atmosphere on this planet's not thick enough. And they're just like, we never did it. The amount of top bodies on the way you pass on Everest is apparently crazy, says Eternal Crusader. I would like to hike to Everest Base Camp. I don't know if you even knew that was a thing, but you can actually hike to the base camp. And the base camp is still pretty crazy. It's like 5,000 meters high, so you're still like the highest mountain in Scotland is like 1,800 meters. So it's like 3.5 times the highest mountain in Scotland. So like just going to the base camp and alone is like, it's like a 2-week hike to do the base camp. I think that would be cool. I'd like to do that. I think I could handle that. I don't think I could physically handle probably going to the actual top, but I also quite, like, I treasure my life, if that makes sense. So, I also don't do things where you can just randomly die. But I think the base camp is fairly safe. I think you can get airlifted to the base camp, because I think people get to the base camp all the time, or people get airlifted up to the base camp all the time, or vice versa, so... it's on my bucket list. I don't really have much else on my bucket list, but my bucket list is one day to hike to Everest Base Camp. The mountain is apparently littered with, covered in litter. I've heard that, because I guess a lot of people take litter up and they can't be bothered to carry it back down. Hello Kevin. I used to use Phobos and Intercessor's bodies last edition to kit back Primaris scale Vanguard vets. Do you think that anyone would balk if I switched to chainswords and pistols and used them as assault intercessors? I don't think anyone cares about WYSIWYG these days, almost. Like, I've been using Firstborn Sangry Guard at tournaments, just stuck onto bigger bases, and like nobody's cared. I'm probably going to be doing that at least for a couple of years, because if you haven't noticed, I am like the world's slowest painter. And the other thing about being quote unquote the world's slowest painter is I also have 2 very young children that eat up all my time, so my models, it takes me ages to get caught up on models, or it takes me ages to get models painted, so they have the old style jump packs on. I honestly don't think anyone cares, Kevin. If I played against you and when we start the game you say to me, by the way, these models are assault intercessors, I would be like, cool, are they on the right size bases? If they are, I'm all good. I'm the second slowest painter behind you, Eternal Crusader. I don't know, Eternal Crusader. I have not finished a unit in ages. I think it's probably because I've been jumping around a lot, but like, I really don't, I cannot think the last time I finished. Maybe Dante? And he's the one unit I finished in the last, like this, the only unit I finished this year I think is Dante. I mean, I've painted a bunch this year, but I never finish anything. I was finishing off that company champion, and then they went ahead and friggin' increased them 10 points, and he doesn't fit in my list, and like I've literally put him to the side. He's you know, he was like 70% painted, so all my painting goes on like my competitive army, I guess. When things are competitive, I paint them. When they're not competitive, I put them in the tray. Believe it or not, Mike says, I'm a really slow painter too. Mike, you're only a slow painter because you were painting 6 impulsors in tandem, you maniac. That doesn't make you a slow painter. That just means you're trying to paint 6 times faster than everyone else. The mountain I live at is the base of 3,000 meters high. Well, you would be well acclimatized if you wanted to hike to Everest Base Camp, Mark. Whereabout in the world are you living? 3,000 meter high mountain. Have you ever climbed it? That feels like it would have been achieved. Like that's a pretty good achievement if you climb that. So in Scotland we have a bunch of Munros, and a Munro is a mountain that is classed as over 1,000 meters above sea level, and we have, I think we've got like maybe like 40 Munros, and some people like to do all of them. Like my sister is on a quest to do every single Monroe there is in Scotland. And she's done a bunch of them. She's probably done like 25, maybe even 30 at this point, because I don't see my sister that often. But I've done like 10. I've done some multiple times because, like, once you know the route, you might do the same one again, like 10 years apart, just to build the strength or whatever. I'm only just building my Indomitus Blade Guard vets that I got in the box on release. You know what? The one thing that I've noticed in the last few weeks is a few people have been talking about that Blade Guard Ancient. And I was like, I have not built my Blade Guard Ancient from Indomitus. He's one of the few Indomitus models that's still on the sprue. But I was like, I have never felt an inclination up until now to build the Blade Guard Ancient, because I honestly thought he was an absolute pile of rubbish. But maybe now, 6-7 years later, there may actually be finally a use for him. I'm not sure if there is, but there may be a use for him. Emphasis on may. I guess we'll find out. New Mexico, USA. I drive up it, I'm lazy. Oh, come on, Mark. As you get older, you need to start climbing up it. Keep yourself healthy. Watch that. So, the Blade Guard Ancient is only like 50 points, right? He might even be less. He might even be 45 points because his rules are so bad. But if he's only 45 points, then he's actually kind of good to attach to Blade Guard in Angelic Inheritors, right? Because, like, for 45 points, you get to reroll hits and wounds of 1, and you get OC2, and once per game you can get a bunch of extra attacks. So I think he might actually be somewhat decent in Angelic Inheritors, even though we have not really seen anyone using him in Angelic Inheritors. But he might be decent. Yeah, the once per game attacks is kind of rubbish, but it's the fact that by attaching them to the unit, you would get OC2 and you would get reroll hits and wounds of 1, which I don't think is horrible for 45 points. My son got a hold of my Blade Guard Ancient and ripped his arms off, so now he's got some crazy battle damage and no banner. That sounds like you're modelling for advantage. Am I using an old Sangre Guard head? This is actually one of the new Sangre Guard heads. I didn't really like it, so rather than use it on the Sangre Guard, I decided to put it on the Lieutenant with Combi Weapon. The Blade Guard Ancient needs a sword. I mean, you're not wrong. It's not too bad. Yeah, I think it's not too bad. I mean, I feel like the new Sangre Guard heads are too Stormcast Eternal for me. But, I mean, I'll use them occasionally, I guess. I do like the Blade Guard of the Judas Art and Impulsor. Has been working well for me for a while, so I was glad when they went down in points. Which detachment are you using that, Kevin? You using Liberator Assault Group? Have you tried that in Inheritors, because that's what I was going to try in Inheritors this week. Obviously, I haven't playing a live game tonight, but I think Andrew said we could play next week. So I think I'm playing World Eaters next Wednesday, and I think I've got I actually have 6 Blade Guard in the list, but 2 squads of 3, and one of the squads of 3 is going to be led by Judasar. So I think that's what I'm aiming to run next week for my Inheritors list. I'm still trying to figure out the Inheritors. Stalin went for a nap when we were doing the Eldar, and he's back now. How you doing, dude? I am working on the Combi Weapon Lieutenant. Slowly but surely, I guess. This guy, I guess, gets a lot of play in the... He gets a lot of play in the... whatever detachment. What's the name of the damn detachment? Inheritors. That's the one. Oh, excuse me. How long does it take to paint one model? A character like this, like 5 or 6 hours, whatnot. I mean, I would be quicker if I'm not yapping to you guys. You know, like if I was just painting it off stream, probably take off like an hour or 2. I gotta read chat. I gotta pay attention to what you guys are saying. It would be boring if I didn't, I suppose, and monologue. But yeah, like, probably be able to do like, I think my Dante took me like 6 to 8, I think about 6 hours for a character, maybe. Like, if I'm doing just like a random assault intercessor, I could probably do it in like 3 or 4, but I'm not fast, man. I've never been fast at painting. I don't know if I ever will be fast at painting. For the Eldar force that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be dry brushing everything. So like, I'm just going to basically just do everything a lot quicker with dry brushing and not worry about any sort of level of detail that I worry about with the Blood Angels. Why do we not see multiple of the combi weapon lieutenants? Because he's probably a bit expensive, right? I think I have seen some people run 2 of them. But I mean, like, I guess, would I rather run 2 of them or 1 unit, or 1 of him and then 1 unit of scouts? I'd probably rather have the scouts because I think they do different things, right? Good shout, Eldar suck to paint. Yeah, and the Eldar that I bought, fortunately, are already all dry brushed. And they're all dry brushed copying a YouTube tutorial. So I said to the guy I was buying them from, I was like, I'm so happy you dry brushed all these and that you copied a YouTube tutorial. And he's like, are you serious? I was like, you don't know how serious I am. Like, I am genuinely super happy because I would not want to... I don't have time to do the same sort of detail in another faction because I can't even find the time for my Blood Angels. Maybe at some point in the next few years I'll get my daughter or I'll get my son into painting, and then that's an activity we can do together. That's I hope, maybe. Their damage should be similar, rerolling to 1s and hits to wounds compared to lag. Yeah, I mean, the damage for the Blade Guard would be similar at that point. Child labour? Exactly. That's the aim, Chris. Teach them up and then I can get them to do the whole thing for me. No, I doubt that would happen, but 2 combi weapon lieutenants just seems excessive. I mean, I guess if there's 2 objective rerolls and 1s, but isn't adding much else to the list. Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably why I would just do 1. I have been, for the last few I say the last few evenings, I've been doing it a little bit last week as well. Mike, I think I found that bit of sound in my video, by the way, so I think I've got that cut out of this week's video. I friggin' hope so anyway. Thanks for pointing that out. But yeah, no, I think I've been working on a Dante painting video for a while. It was like 112 video clip. So I've been putting them all together in like the timeline. It's probably going to be like 20 minutes long. I don't know how I can make it much shorter than that. Which I don't know if that's too long, probably. Like, do people want to watch a 20-minute battle-ready video on painting Dante? Probably not. But that's how long it's taken me to make the video, and I imagine the video will be ready in the next couple of weeks, because I need to finish putting the last, like, I think I've put like 75 of 100, I think I said it was 112, 115 clips, something like that. So I put like 75 of them into the timeline. So like, it'll take like another hour or 2 to put the rest of the clips in, depending on how much editing it needs. Then I need to cut it all together, add transitions, add a voiceover. And in every painting video I do, have I run the Lieutenant this edition? Yeah, I've been running them every week now for like 5 weeks in my Angelic Counters list, dude. And every painting video I do, it generally doesn't perform very well, because that's not what my channel's primary goal is about. Like, I guess people tune in for my battle reports and or tactics videos. People don't really tune in for the Blood Angels Commander painting stuff, so I guess the algorithm just doesn't like my painting videos. But to hell with the algorithm, I'm making a Dante painting video. It's like I said, I occasionally like making painting videos, so I'm doing it. Be ready in the next couple of weeks. The Lieutenant and Combi Weapon can only be used on 1 objective regardless of how many you have. Oh, did not know that, Phil. Thanks for pointing that out. Why is that? Was that FAQ or something? Or it specifically just says like one objective on the battlefield or something? I wasn't really intending running more than 1, but I guess that answers the question for why do people just run 1? You can only use it on 1 objective. It's in his ability. There you go. You are a wealth of knowledge, Phil. Thanks for hanging out. How's work treating you anyway, Phil? You had a busy year? I think everybody sort of felt like Dante deserved some cooler rules, man. Even just like rules for like a CP gain or something. Like I think Dante's Battle Shock rule is really bad. Like, it's rarely ever impactful when you need it, and when you don't need it, that's when it goes off. Like, Battle Shock rule, like, I played against Chaos Demons a few weeks back, and they had similar, like, their whole army revolved around, like, some Battle Shock mechanic. And I was like, well, I'm Space Marines. I literally, like, I failed 1 leadership test, I think, the entire game. And the one that I failed, I was next to the Sanguinar, and I just re-rolled it. So it's like, if your army is all about Battle Shock stuff, like, like, I think that was like, I think the Chaos Demons even had like all the battle shock tests to be taken at like -1 or -2, and I was like, it just doesn't feel meaningful. Battle shock, I think, goes one of two ways. Like, it has literally no impact or it has massive impact, but I want to say most of the time it has no impact. Yeah. If this edition, right, they'd started everybody with lower leadership. Like, imagine if they just like Space Marines typically have like leadership 6. Like, if Space Marines had leadership 5, and let's say like Guardsmen, I think, are probably leadership like 7 or 8. Sorry, I've done that the wrong way. Space Marines, let's say Space Marines are leadership 6. Like, maybe if Space Marines were leadership like 7 or 8, then Battle Shock could have been massively impactful in every game, right? Like, so if like a Guardsman who currently is leadership like 7 was like leadership 9 or something, you know, like, it would have been, Battle Shock could have been a massive thing that was really important. But I feel like they just got it like 1 point wrong or something, or like, I'd like to see Colin try the Shadow Legion detachment. I think he wants to. That's the new Be'lakor detachment, right? So I think we'll get him to play it on the channel, because I mean, Colin likes experimenting, and Colin's a good player for building strong lists with different factions or whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I can't imagine we won't feature that on the channel at some point, Ryan. I really think we will. If Azrael can generate CP, then I think most people agree that Dante would have been better if he could generate CP, and he can probably lose that Battle Shock rule. It's pretty underwhelming 90% of the time, I feel like. Like I said, it only ever goes off when you don't need it to go off. And then it never goes off when you need it. Where the fuck are our 3 damage characters? They've been removing a lot of characters that do 3 damage. What will be really interesting is when the Death Guard get their codex. Because the Death Guard codex is coming soon. Because I think at the moment, so much of the Death Guard characters still do 3 damage. And if they all stay at 3 damage, that's gonna... yeah. I actually thought they might have given Dante a sweep attack, you know? They're in Legends. Phil says they're in Legends, Lace. So you can get them from Legends, I guess. Phil's on a bit of a trolling mission tonight, I think. If you start the turn Battle Shock, you should have to roll to unshock even at full health. I don't know if that would have been massively meaningful. I think they just got the point on Battle Shock, like it's 1 point, like everybody's got 1 higher leadership than they need to be. If it had just been everybody had 1 leadership less, it might have been very impactful, because it's close to being impactful, but it's not impactful, right? You get the damage 3 Bite Captain on the charge. Yeah, not many people run that Bite Chaplain. I've played him once, I think in 10th edition, with the 3 damage on the charge, and I think the problem is that he's only got EP1, made it kind of feel not that great. We need Gabriel Seth back with his 3 damage sword. I hope they give Primaris Gabriel Seth a jump pack. Because I think if they gave him a jump pack, that would give you a completely different option to run Blood Angels like Sangri Guard. And I think that could be super cool. Plus, I think if they gave him a jump pack, they could also sell that model to all the Blood Angels players that want a new character to lead their army, and why would they not want to do that? Kevin's still super salty about the legending of the Librarian Dreadnought. I think it's always gonna, like, I think anytime something goes Legends, people are gonna be salty, Kevin. I know I was when a bunch of my stuff got Legends, and I guess the best thing you can try and do is let go of the salt, because it doesn't benefit anyone, and hope that whatever changed or whatever you're not happy with will at least get like new models or new rules in the future, I guess. I see a lot of non-Primaris models going Legends in 11th edition. I actually kind of thought it might be everything. Aradine. Like, they might do something weird. Like, I remember they made a big deal about tactical squads in 10th edition. They're like, don't worry, you'll still see tactical squads riding across the battlefield, jumping out of rhinos. And it's like, I've literally played the game for... I've played a match every week for like a year, and I've never... or 2 years now, and I've been to a bunch of tournaments, and I've never once seen any tactical squad, let alone one riding inside a rhino. I honestly can't remember the last time I saw a Space Marine player take a rhino, and I definitely don't feel like I've seen any tactical squads. But I think they might do something ironic, like tactical squads get to stay because they're super iconic, and then Land Raiders maybe get to stay because they're super iconic, and then everything else is Legends. And I guess if the Vindicator tank is Legends, we sell a Primaris Vindicator. I think someone said it earlier, like a heavy siege tank type thing. Does anyone use Thunderhammers anymore? I had to change out all of my Death Company this edition. No big deal, but they never get played. So you can't even equip Thunderhammers. Can you on Jump Death Company anymore, or can you take one? I played a captain with a Thunderhammer, leading Sangre Guard, and I felt like that seemed like it was okay. I gave him Gift of Foresight so I could like guarantee some mortal wounds. But yeah, and I suppose in general not many people play Thunderhammers now. Yeah, it's Eviscerators and Power Fists, so there's no hammer at all in the Junk Death Company. Yeah. I'm making a video for Friday on Junk Death Company, and spoiler, I'm basically saying that they're crap. Like really crap at 130 points. Like they're so bad at 130 points, honestly, for 5. So I'm making the video for Friday. I'm kind of hoping that if I make it, someone at Games Workshop might take notice. But maybe that's wishful thinking. Maybe no one will see it except you guys. But regardless, I want to make the video anyway. Some people are... some people, yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I think Jump Death Company are in a really bad place at the moment. I know for sure I haven't even remotely considering using them. I think all Death Company, not just Jump Death Company, like Death Company with bolt guns, bad. Death Company with assault chainswords, bad. Death Company Dreadnought, bad. Death Company Captain on foot or with a jump pack, bad, Just there isn't much good to say about Death Company right now. I missed all the Power Fists on the Death Company. I think everybody does, man. Like, if you actually work out everything the Death Company lost this edition, like, they only got made 10 points cheaper, and they lost ever so much, right? They lost Fight on Death potential. They lost a bunch of Power Fists. They launched a bunch of hit rerolls. Like it's just bad news after bad news for them. It feels like. Alright, I'm starting to get a bit tired. I dropped the model there. So I'm probably going to be here for like 5 more minutes, and I'm going to take off. Phil is going to bring All Death Company to the GT. Now we need to figure out when the next GT is going to be, Phil. As soon as I know, I will make sure to let you know. All Death Company. You are crazy, Phil. I appreciate the dedication to the factions, though. Like, most people look at that Death Company detachment and are just like, yeah, that's dog shit. If you're bringing All Death Company, are you bringing that detachment, though, or are you bringing All Death Company in another detachment? Krychek, thanks so much. Good night. Nice to see you hanging out. Guys, if you do get 2 seconds tonight, if you could leave a like on the stream, it does always help me out ever so much. I do appreciate it. Death Company just have no role in the current game. The only one that comes close to the jump pack. Yeah, I mean, I think the jump pack ones are the best, but you're right. I think they definitely need something to make them better. I mean, they could possibly be fixed with a points cost. It just seems like Games Workshop don't want to give them a points drop. I'm not really sure why. Like, I don't think people will spam them. I think people... do you think giving chaplains the Death Company keyword would be enough for the detachment? No. Because I think the detachment rules kind of only kicking in when you've already lost half your models kind of stinks. I think usually what happens is a unit is very strong and a meta potentially evolves around that unit, and that unit gets an absolute ton of play, and then Games Workshop think, oh no, that unit's getting an absolute ton of play, we should nerf it. And like that happened with Eradicators, it happened with Aggressors, it's obviously happened with those 5-man Jump Death Company units. And then once they've had that ton of play, it's like, it feels like they're then punished for multiple battle data slates. Like, look at Aggressors. Like, Aggressors got mega punished because of that, what was it, the Fire Discipline thing in the Gladius detachment? Well, Fire Discipline got unnerfed, and Aggressors never did, so, like, Aggressors are still punished for a combo that doesn't even exist in the game anymore. So, like, sometimes when things are good, it's like, alright, that thing's too good. We can't have that thing, but then we can fix the problem, but then the thing that we thought that we couldn't have is just left to linger, or is just left in sort of limbo. And like I said, I think Aggressors had that, Eradicators had that, Desolation Marines have had that. I'm sure there's more, but Death Company have definitely been a victim of like, they were just too good for a while. So now they just have to have a really bad, overcosted data sheet for a while to make up for it, maybe. Right? If Death Company had a 30% points drop in the Lost Brethren, well, I think in the Lost Brethren they should have honestly just said Death Company Marines have objective control, and it's like, it doesn't need to be much, but if they'd just been like, Death Company Marines OC1 in this detachment. If you have a chaplain close, it's OC2 or something. Like, that might have been enough to at least get them on the tabletop in a few matches, right? Because I think at the moment they just don't appear on the tabletop. Desolation Marines will be Legends in 11th edition. They will not, Phil. They're brand new. They'll have a redone rule set in 11th edition that makes them I don't want to say competitive, but makes them less, it's not obnoxious, but like less likely to just get completely overlooked. I think everybody disliked the look of the Desolation Marines. They really weren't a popular model, right? I don't know if you bought any, but I did buy some, and the guns are a little bit silly sized, it feels like. Games Workshop don't care about Death Company because it's not a box I can sell right now. Yeah, like why do Death Company not have a box on the official website? It's a bit weird, right? It's been a while since they haven't had a box. I bought one squad, but picked up a kit to put the rockets on their backpack. Yeah, I bought 15 of them. I built and half painted 10 of them, and then the last 5 I bought them right as they got nerfed. So I gave the last 5 away to another content creator. I have no idea what they did with them. They're the t-shirt cannon Marines. They are indeed. I'm going to be commissioning Brett to do another t-shirt design in the near future. I've spoken to him about it, so it's going to happen. Hello, Nurgle. Auspex data says some people are using Desolation Marines again. I mean, there's probably a way you can use them, but I'm not overly impressed. Alright, I need to go to bed, guys. It's been a pleasure streaming tonight. Do you find Rage-Fueled Warrior with company heroes for the extra wounds is better than the Angelic Inheritors? So I don't use Rage-Fueled Warrior on a company heroes captain. I mean, you would probably be better if you're going to use Rage-Fueled Warrior. You're probably better using them with Sternguard or with the Assault Intercessors, as you said. The reason to take the company heroes is not for damage. You take them for the survivability. But here's the thing: I usually find company heroes with the captain and the finest hour is usually somewhat decent. I was going to say, is this going to focus? This character's coming along. I've probably spent... I feel like this is possibly the 3rd stream I've spent working on this guy now. So this guy's probably at like 4 or 5 hours. So he's got a lot of work left on him. Someone asked earlier, how long does it take? Well, apparently this character's taking way ages. Sometimes that happens. Like I said, I can probably paint faster if I'm just like the music that I listen to, like on the stream that's in the background here. If I have a day without my kids, I just listen to similar sort of like chill music. I just paint, but I guess I can paint a bit faster when I'm not talking to chat. But hey, I like talking to chat. I genuinely very much enjoy the painting streams. Are possibly the chillest thing that I do, because I put a lot of pressure on myself to win the game. Like when I'm playing live and you guys are all watching, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself to try and win those games. I always feel bad if I'm losing them. Morning, Peter. How you doing? I think Death Company could be rolled into the Marine Codex under Gene Cursed Berserkers and available to other chapters. I suppose. I think Death Company just need a... They just need a points dropper. They just need a relook at the rules or something like that. It was a FOMO box. Everyone who didn't buy it missed out, but seriously, the only thing that made it Death Company were Astrath and Lamartes. Astrath and Lamartes, you can just buy them online though, right? They're not FOMO. And the Blood Angels upgrade sprue wasn't good. And then the rest of the box was just Assault Intercessors. So yeah, I mean, that's why I've got so many Assault Intercessors. I think I gave Miles, because one of the reason that I got Miles as Eldar was so cheap was I gave him a bunch of Space Marine stuff that I had no intention of ever building or making, right? Because like I had 2 sets of Indomitus, so I think I gave him like possibly like I think I gave him the Captain in Terminator armor. I think I gave him a squad of Terminators. I think I maybe gave him a squad of Assault Intercessors or Intercessors, and maybe a few other bits and bobs. And that's one of the reasons that I got the Eldar so cheap, is like because I gave him like $100 to Space Marines. But like they were all Space Marine stuff that I've had for like 10 years that's all on sprue. And I honestly had no idea what I was ever going to do with like 50 Assault Intercessors. Like why? Every box that we buy has Assault Indomitus, Assault Intercessors, the Combat Patrol, Assault Intercessors, the Death Company box, Assault Intercessors. I even bought some Assault Intercessors. You should do a video on the mighty Assault Intercessor. It's coming on Friday. Death Company versus Assault Intercessors. That's coming on Friday. And by the end of the video, you will 100% never feel Death Company with jump packs again. Right? That's coming on Friday. So I'll see you guys on Friday for the Tactics video. I am genuinely really tired. My eyes feel like gritty or sloppy or whatever you want to call them. So you guys have a great evening. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you Friday. And then I'll probably be around at the weekend for some streams as well. So, alright. Good evening. Good night. What'd you do with the 2 squads of old Assault Terminators? Well, new Assault Terminators are going to come in the 11th edition box, so be prepared for that. Alright, see you guys later. Good night.